You and I can do nothing to save the world. However, the flame of our enthusiasm can be hope for those around us in moments of darkness. I would like to say a special thank you to Liz Renton for the enthusiasm she has shown with the English narration. Thanks, Liz. The index of the video. So we begin with 4 stretching exercises to kind of wake you up. Good morning. To get your body totally realigned. Then 4 stretching exercises to kind of relax you, to say goodnight. Again, to realign your body. The next one is how to control your breathing, which is very important. The visualizations, which are about healthy habits. And the relaxation. Now, as a recommendation here, as you do need to breathe in and breathe out of your nose, if health allows, it's a good idea for you to put a plaster over your mouth. This is so that you don't have to concentrate on your breathing all the time while you're trying to relax, and it'll help you to relax better. So if we can now do that. Okay, so for those of you who only want to do some stretching exercises in the morning to welcome the day, good morning to you. And here we go. First exercise, you need to be standing against the wall, and so lift up your arms and stretch the whole of your body. And as you do that, obviously we're going to breathe in as you stretch your arms up, and breathe out as you stretch your arms down. And then as you stretch your arms up, feel the air go in and feel the air go out. Feel the air go in, feel the air go out. Feel the air go in, feel the air go out. So stretch, that goes in, and stop, and then let it go out. Now lie down on your mat, face upwards, with your arms above your head, and as you breathe in, stretch your arms and stretch your legs. So stretch as feel the air go in, and then stop, and then let the air go out. Stretch, feel the air go in, stop, and then feel the air go out. Stretch as the air goes in, and then stop, and then let the air go out. and then stretch in, and then stop, and then let the air out. Feel the air go out. Okay, the next one we're going to be, there's a hip bend, so we're going to start in the standing position with our feet slightly apart, like the width of your hips. Without bending your knees, what we're going to do is we're going to bend from our hips down and try and touch the floor with your hands. Don't worry if you can't do it. So we're going to stretch and bend as the air comes in, and then try and touch the floor with the palms of your hands, and then stop and breathe out. So stretch and bend, try and touch the floor, and then breathe out and feel the air go out. Feel the air go in as you stretch, and then feel it go out as you relax. Stretch and feel the air go in, and as it goes out, feel the air go out. The next one is the U shape. So for this we need to have our feet firmly on the ground and our hands about a meter between the soles of our feet and our hands. So press your fingers and your toes into the mat, and you kind of make a U shape. What we're going to do is to change that U shape by, when we're breathing in, we're going to bring up our abdomen, and that'll change the shape from a U to a V shape. Okay? So feel the air come in, bring your abdomen up, and then hold, and then breathe out. Okay, so feel the air come in and out. Stretch and feel the air come in, and let the air go out. So now we're going to lie on the floor. So turn over on your mat, lie on the floor, relax position, now we've got a chair, and we're going to rest our feet and our calf muscles of the leg on the chair. We're going to have our bottom near the legs of the chair, not too close, maybe 20 centimeters away. And we're going to have our arms above our heads, relaxed, but straight on the floor. And so what we're going to do here is literally concentrate on the music and the breathing as we breathe in. So feel the air come in and feel the air go out. Feel the air come in and feel the air go out. Feel the air come in, feel the air go out. Feel the air go in, and feel the air go out. Okay. So now we remain on our backs. But now we're going to use the wall, and we put our bottom against the wall and our legs straight up the wall. Maybe a distance of 40 centimeters. So get your bottom as close as you possibly can to the wall, and so then the trunk of your body is flat on the floor, and you have your arms stretched out to the sides. So with your arms stretched out to the sides, we're going to put our arms above our head, so flat on the mat but above our head. And as we do that, we're going to feel as if we're touching the ceiling, so stretching and pushing our legs up to the ceiling and controlling our breathing and listening to the music. Okay, so now we're going to move our arms from the outstretched to the side to above our heads. As we breathe in, feel the air come in and then stop, and then feel the air go out and down, and then feel the air come in and then feel the air go out, and then feel the air come in and feel the air go out, and stretch and feel the air come in and feel the air go out. Okay, so we've come to the end of the exercises there, and now we're going to get into the rest position. Now to control your breathing. So we're going to breathe in through our noses and breathe out through our noses. So breathe in and feel the air going into your lungs, filling you up with air, and then feel the air going out as you empty your lungs as the air goes out. So feel the air going in, feel the air going out. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Okay. Okay, so here is a quote from Lao Tse, and it's an Oriental thought, let's say. So he says, "He who knows much about others is learned, but he who understands himself is more intelligent. He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." And there's also a song which goes something like, "They told me 1,000 times, but I never wanted to listen." So now let's begin the visualizations. Okay, so let's visualize and think of doing 4 stretching exercises to start the day. Good morning. Now, if you can visualize that no sooner than you wake up in the morning, splash your face with water to activate your brain. Think of that. Now, if you try to think of and kind of mirror the neurons of other people, the people that you relate to, and then they give back to you your behaviour, the way in which you behave. Now, if you can visualize drinking a glass of warm water or hot water first thing before eating anything on an empty stomach to clean out the whole of your system and to get rid of that anxiety we often have to devour our food or scoff it or gobble it or guzzle it or wolf it down or bolt it down or just literally pig out. We shouldn't do that because of anxiety. So by drinking this glass of hot water, it should get rid of that anxiety. Now, if you can visualize that during meals, obviously balanced and healthy meals, pay attention to tasting that food, to really pay attention to concentrate on them, enjoying the taste, the flavour of the food, which again will help with your anxiety, and it'll stop that instinct to gobble and guzzle and devour and scoff and pig out on everything we eat. We don't want to do that. So we've got to calm that thing. Okay, now if we can envisage and think about now of the fact that when we're talking to people, always take care to choose your words carefully. Use the right tone of voice, and then you will avoid destructive criticism. Now, if you can visualize, to put priority on listening and asking questions rather than talking. And now if you can think about doing sport and feeling stronger both mentally and physically. Think on that. Now if you can visualize and think on doing some group activity each week, which will cover the need we have for socializing. Now, visualize yourself checking on your breathing every so often during the day. Several times a day, if you literally check that you're breathing correctly. So if you are tense or anxious, then give a big stretch and align your body. Now if you can visualize enjoying something that gives you pleasure, and then think about it and decide which is more fulfilling and pleasurable. Okay. Now if you can visualize and ask yourself questions. So asking yourself questions, questioning yourself every day about something social or private. And so this kind of puts things into perspective. Now if you can visualize a person who gets the best out of you, someone who's positive and pushes your self-esteem up to its heights. Spend time with that person and visualize yourself as that type of a person, very positive, and everything is good. Now, if you can visualize yourself paying attention to your innermost feelings, the messages from your subconscious. So above all, when you're making decisions, or when something makes you feel uncomfortable or uneasy, listen to your inner self, listen to your subconscious. Now, if you can visualize yourself doing things with the family, enjoying your time with the family, and with doing something that's easy to do. Think of that. Now, if you can visualize yourself in the Middle Ages. So you're in the Middle Ages and you've been drafted as a soldier to go into a big battle where no one can help you. So you need your strength. You need your strength and your willpower to get you through. It's the only way that you can get through and be saved. And it will help you go forward. Think on that. Now, if you can think of calm, becoming really calm before taking a decision. Making a decision about something is always a thing that causes us a lot of anxiety. So visualize yourself calming down before you take that decision. So the stress and all the negativity that influences you, try and calm that down, and so you will be able to get rid of the things of the past and calmly make that decision. Okay, visualize your son or daughter or some member of the family who's imitating your behavior, whether it be genetic or not. Children do imitate your behavior. But think of those things that they imitate when they too are faced with great challenges in their lives. Think of that. Visualize that. Now, visualize Nelson Mandela. He demonstrated so many things, but he had a great hope during those 27 years that he was in the prison. Think of that demonstration of hope that he showed us. Now, if you can visualize Gandhi, a great example of social peace. Now, can you visualize Mother Mother Teresa of Calcutta, a great example of charity and love. Now if you can think of Marie Curie, visualize Marie Curie as an example of compassion. And now, if you can think of whether you have any dependence, anything which depends on you. So you have to find your strength to eliminate it and then feel liberated. Now, if you can visualize and remember the emotion you felt on an occasion when you used your sense of humor. Think of that moment. Now, if you can visualize and think of and remember the emotion that you felt on an occasion when you put into practice your happiness. And now, if you can visualize yourself faced with the difficulty. So when you're faced with that difficulty, when you put into practice there your optimism, the coherent, optimistic person that you are, think of that, being optimistic. So now if you can visualize a person that you'd consider transmits the example of willpower. Think of that person whose willpower is important. Now if you can think of another person, this person transmits or gives you the trust. That you can trust that person implicitly. Think of that person. Now, if you can visualize a person who transmits or gives you a good example of enthusiasm, someone who's so enthusiastic they can say, come on, let's do this. That person, think of that person. Okay. So now if you can visualize a moment, either in an isolated moment, an intimate moment, one of those moments where you can talk about your deepest and most profound thoughts and then listen to your answers. So, visualize and think of that moment of intimacy, of isolation, of quietness, where you can talk about your deepest and most profound thoughts and then listen to your answers. And now visualize that every night getting ready to go to sleep. So you're thinking of what's going to help you to wake up the next day with illusion. So whatever that thing can be that's going to help you to get up with an illusion tomorrow, it might be your favourite fruit, it might be toasted marmalade, it might be a piece of chocolate or your favourite song, whatever that is. Every night, think of that thing to motivate you to lift up your illusion for another day. Okay? Now, if you can visualize that at the end of every day, we need to reflect upon the things that have happened, the emotions that we felt, and the feelings that we felt during the day. So think of those things and value those things. Now visualize and try and remember 3 good things that have happened during the day. Whatever they may be, 3 good things. Hey, yeah, that was a good thing. Think of 3 of those good things. And now, as we start to relax, and at the end of the day, here we are. So, think of yourself doing some 4 stretching exercises to help you get a good night's sleep. So, think of those exercises that help you get off to a good night's sleep. So now, maybe you can visualize yourself lying on the bed and thinking of all the information that you receive through the 5 senses as you're relaxing. So, think of what you can see, think of what you can hear, think of what you've tasted, think of what you've smelt, and think of all the things that you've touched during the day. Okay. Now we're going to relax. So, relax your feet. That's it. Relax your legs. Okay. Relax your hips. Now relax your body, the trunk of your body. Relax your arms. Relax your neck. Relax your jaw. Relax your lips. Relax your eyes. Relax your forehead. Now, imagine that your head is like a balloon and it's floating in the air. So imagine this balloon, your head, is floating. It's weightless. It doesn't weigh a thing. It's floating. It's floating. Think to yourself, my head is floating. My head is floating. My head is floating like a balloon in the air. My head is floating. My body is like a balloon. My arms, my legs, my body My body's like a balloon, weightless, doesn't weigh a thing. Like a balloon. My body is weightless, it's floating. My body is floating. Floating, it's floating. It's floating. My body is floating, doesn't weigh a thing. My body is weightless. It's floating, it's floating, it's floating. My body is floating. My feet up don't weigh a thing. My legs don't weigh a thing. My hips don't weigh a thing. My body doesn't weigh a thing. My arms don't weigh a thing. My neck doesn't weigh a thing. My jaw doesn't weigh a thing. My lips don't weigh a thing. My eyes don't weigh a thing. My forehead doesn't weigh a thing. Weightless, totally weightless. And I'm floating. You're floating in the air like a balloon. My head is like a balloon. My body is like a balloon. Weightless, weightless, floating, floating. My body is floating, floating. My feet are weightless. My legs are weightless. My hips, my body, my arms, my neck, my jaw, my lips, my eyes, my forehead, all weightless. They don't weigh a thing. I'm floating, floating, floating. I'm floating like a balloon in the air. Like a balloon in the air, I'm floating. I don't weigh a thing. My body is just floating, 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 floating. My body is floating. My legs don't weigh a thing. My feet don't weigh a thing. My hips don't weigh a thing. My body, my arms, my neck don't weigh a thing. My jaw doesn't weigh a thing. My lips don't weigh a thing. My eyes don't weigh a thing. I'm floating, floating, floating. Like a balloon floating in the air. Floating in the air. Weightless. Floating, floating, floating. My body is 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 floating. Floating. My body is floating. My body is floating. My body is floating.